Venusaur, the first fully evolved Pokemon and first Pokemon with both a Mega Evolution and a Gigantamax form in this series. Having both these qualities means that Venusaur enjoys a high variety of cards and certainly helps that it's a starter of the original 151. While looking through card arts, I was really surprised to find out that Venusaur only got one EX card during the Ruby and Sapphire era. Normally I'm not big on older card arts, but something about this one in particular is really charming. Skipping 2 generations and moving into the Big E, Big XXY era, Venusaur received a lot more cards this time around if you don't count them all having the exact same moves. The 2 regular EXs are fairly similar to one another and are pretty standard art-wise, and the full art is kinda goofy, like, look at this thing, where are you even looking? The promo, however, is definitely one of the best Venusaur arts outright. The colors, shading, and dynamic pose would be enough in and of themselves, but the added Vileplume and Saitou truly make this card. Of course, being the XY era of cards, Mega Venusaur also got some cards, but only in the base set, oddly enough, in the form of the regular M Venusaur EX you're currently looking at. And this much cooler full art where Venusaur looks like it's about to Vine Whip the viewer. During the Sun and Moon era, Venusaur didn't receive any GXs with just it by itself, but it did receive 2 tag team GXs with 3 different arts for each tag team. The first one was with Celebi, and I gotta say, for being a box standard GX, this one has some really nice art. It's really cute that Celebi is holding Venusaur's vine while looking incredibly displeased. The second tag team was with Snivy. I'm not entirely sure why they picked Snivy, but I'm not complaining too much because this card is incredibly hilarious. This Venusaur is throwing the Snivy, and by the looks of it, this Snivy is all for it. Both of these cards got full arts in their respective sets, but they're pretty similar to each other and, to be frank, are pretty standard as far as full arts go. All 4 of the previous cards pale in comparison to the promos that each one got. The one with Celebi has superb lighting, shading, and overall really great visual design. The one for Snivy, on the other hand, was done by Yuka Morii, who always does her art with clay, giving this card a distinct visual design different than any other Venusaur card. Going into the Sword and Shield era, Venusaur only received one V that you could actually pull within a set. It is admittedly a pretty good one as far as Vs go, with some very well done shading, which you can't really say as much for this other Venusaur V that was a promo featured in a collection box that also contained this VMax Venusaur promo that is the one and only Venusaur Gigantamax card. At last we arrive at the current generation, Scarlet and Violet. This era features the return of Little E, Little X EXs, but with art more reminiscent of XY era Big E, Big X EXs. The 2 that Venusaur has received thus far are pretty similar to one another and are fairly standard as far as EXs go. At the very least, they're not as bad as that V promo. This era definitely has the best Venusaur full art, at least in my opinion. Found within the 151 set, the background swirl provides a good backdrop and the Venusaur isn't looking in a random direction either. If you know anything about Venusaur cards, I think you know what's coming next. This gorgeous special illustration rare features Venusaur standing in an insanely colorful field of flowers. The colors aren't the only insane thing about this card either.